Heard the phrase from Dan to Beersheba. Well, we're at Dan. Dan is the northernmost part of Israel, and Beersheba is the southern down in the Negev. And right now we're at the what's called the Gate of Jeroboam, and wonderful archaeological excavation here. In America, when we think of a gate, we think of a flat door, but actually a gate in biblical times was a complex. And it was in the gate that the city elders would exercise their judgment. The prophets often talk about doing judgment at the gate. If you think back to Boaz, for example, it was at the city gate that he exercised his right of redeemer kinsman for Ruth, the Moabitess, who became his wife. There's also really an important reference to the gate in respect to the time of David, because Absalom, the son of David, sat at the gate and exercised judgment and made friends while David was ensconced in his palace and lost contact with people. So when Absalom rebelled, the people followed him because they knew him. He had been at the gate. I think this is a very important lesson for us who are in leadership and ministry, that I recognize, especially in a growing church, you can't know everybody, but you can become easily detached and isolated and leave the task of being friendly with people and knowing people to others, and you become insulated. And it's no wonder that then the hearts of people are drawn away from you. I wince a little bit when I see pastors of large churches with a phalanx of people around them that escort them off the platform after the service, and they essentially have lost contact with their people because they are now, big preachers. They don't mix with the common people anymore. The thing that you see about Jesus is he allowed himself to be touched. He was out there among people. And after Absalom had rebelled and led the people and ultimately was defeated, remember that David was disconsolate over the loss of Absalom, and Joab came to him and said, if you don't go sit at the gate today, the whole people are going to melt away. You've got to stop this grieving. You've got to let people know that you're at the gate and that you're accessible, and they need to see you. It's the same way with our lives. As leaders, we need to be among people, and we need to be transparent. We need to be able to make sure that our persona is the same as our person, that we don't have a pulpit image that's one thing, or a pulpit voice that's one thing, and then a family voice or an inside voice that's another thing. We need to be consistent throughout. And part of being a pastor is not to follow the business model of the corporate CEO. It's to follow the model of being a shepherd. Jesus is the good shepherd. He calls us to be under shepherds. A task of shepherds is that they not just know their Bible, not just know content, not just know the latest leadership principles, but that they know the people whom the Lord has called them to. Such a vital aspect of leadership, pastoring people, shepherding people, being accessible, knowing them. I encourage you to do that.